Hi, Minnie. Thank you for joining us here at Untold by Docu Plus as our new podcast channel. Before we dig in, please can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Hi, my name is Minnie Kim, and I'm Korean American actress. And I also, on the side, work on UX research and design.
Interesting combination. Can you talk to us more about how different your acting career versus your UX design career is like?
So I have worked on my UX design career for 16 years. And currently I'm freelancing mostly, but like the design part, it's a lot about problem solving as business and kind of working with different people on like getting the product, digital product out there. I guess I was really interested in graphic design and arts and design, so that's how I got into the field. But currently, I'm more interested in acting, so I'm using that to kind of fund my acting career. And thankfully, I've been doing it for so long that I can freelance and kind of use that money and have like a little more flexibility in my schedule so that I can pursue my acting career.
Speaking of your acting career, can you share how your acting career like trajectory is going so far?
So I started my acting career like around 4 years ago, and I guess during pandemic, a lot of people had this thought or like a revelation that what do they want to do for rest of their life. And I was on a hot tub trip in upstate New York in winter with one of my close friends, and we were talking about our career life, and I didn't want to do tech for the rest of my life. So and then I'm like, what did I want to do that I didn't pursue for realistic reasons? And I always enjoyed performing. So I did musical when I was in junior high school in America. And in college, I always did a lot of dancing, like K-pop, K-pop dance. There were Spirit of Korea, so like you kind of show Korean dancing, and we like show K-pop music and dances. I spend more time doing that than actually my studies. So sometimes I'll tell my professor, I'm like, I will turn in the work, but I'm kind of busy practicing. Therefore, just give me like 1 month and I'll be back. So
Did your college have like a theater acting major?
not that big. It's much more of a like liberal arts school, and I studied graphic design. So, and then I was like, I always loved performing, but I'm a little bit too old to maybe pursue a dance career. But acting, I thought I could, even if I start late, I could be really good in the next 10 years and play the older role and kind of pursue it. So I signed up for acting class in New York. Loved it. And it was late night classes, and I was still awake, which is big deal. I'm a morning person. So I continued to take classes, and then got some of my close friends are directors in Korea for commercials, working with actually celebrities. And he kind of encouraged me and did my first reel for me for free, and then did my headshot for free. Got his like really good friend. Yeah, the photographer takes all the Netflix Korea photo for celebrities. So he did it for free for me, for my first headshot. And then I started just submitting to student film. So I just dove in and then got that experience early on. So first year, I mostly did student film. And second year, I started moving into more independent film. Did my first independent short film in Austin, and that went through a full festival circuit. Looking back at that, I'm like, wow, my acting's so bad. But anyway, that was like my second year of acting. And then I continued to do a lot of like independent films. and got agents. And this year is my 4th year. And I kind of, for first time, got booked my first co-star role at HBO miniseries, yeah, which was big deal and interesting. I got to act with David Harbour from Stranger Things.
Dang, how was that?
He was really, really funny and good. It's like a dark comedy series that's coming out, and a lot of like improv, and he was just funny. And it's so fun to act with someone who is so like such a professional. And the director worked on something called Patriot series, and he also worked with like Ben Stiller on some stuff. He was also really nice, and it was good commercial experience.
What is this the project that you told me about when we met in New York? The Yetko?
Yeah, I shot it in Atlanta. You get your own trailer and stuff, like small trailer.
You're a big star
now. I'm not sure if I think I'll make it. I'm not sure if my face will be super focused, but it was really like fun.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess like 3rd year, I filmed my first Korean independent film in Oceanside. So yeah, it's like always trying to do independent film as well as like trying to audition, a lot of audition but not a lot of booking. But that's the life.
Yeah, I'm really curious because you're one of those rare actors that try to cross over between like US and Korea. I'm sure there aren't that many Korean American actresses that do work in both countries, right?
Yeah.
Explain how your journey was trying to navigate between the US and Korea.
So I have been meeting a lot of Korean American actors through my journey in New York, which is really interesting, and they're like different, like spectrum. Some people are very Korean American. They like barely speak Korean and their Korean's bad. And then there's people who are like me who can like do both. And then there's like Korean who just came to America. Their American accent is kind of Korean. They have a Korean accent in their English. So it was interesting to see that spectrum of people. I think in America, one thing is that they hire people who don't speak good Korean to speak Korean sometime in their short films or independent film, and that kind of bothers me. But anyway.
Past lives.
Yeah. Yeah, which is interesting because I went to America when I was 12, and that character is supposed to have gone to America when she's 12, and my Korean's like pretty fluent. So, because you finished elementary school.
Yeah,
so.
Of course.
But yeah, so that's always interesting. But for me, I always love connection to Korea, and even though I immigrated and I'm U.S. citizen, I identify myself more towards Korean rather than American. So I was always interested in Korean film industry, and I watched a lot of Korean show, like more than American show. So when I came to Korea one time, for a month, I signed myself up for acting class because I was curious how Koreans teach acting. So
was there any difference between the US approach and the Korean approach?
I think they are similar, but I feel like Koreans tend to be a little more like prescriptive like more stricter or like more drive towards perfection rather than kind of just like free and more do whatever you want type of mind. It's America. You do you.
Yeah.
So it was kind of tricky. Like they thought, like, and they weren't able to really place me well because they're like, I'm not Korean, and then. So the funny thing is, Korean people thought that my English acting was more natural, and my American like friends or teachers thought my Korean acting is more natural. So I'm that's so confusing. So which one is more natural? But through that class, I met like a good friend, classmates, and she actually forwarded me the posting, from the Korean site, the filmmakers, I think, for casting notice in America in Oceanside, and I applied for it and I got it. That's how I like got into the Korean independent film scene and made friends with directors and actors in Korea.
Right. So you're back in Seoul ahead of the Jeonju International Film Festival for a big screening of your short Still Sunset.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I'm so excited because it's my Korean debut, and
Oh, it's your debut.
yeah, I never did any
Congrats.
Korean, so that's very exciting. Also, I really am proud of this film, though I'm not the director, but I have seen it at this point like 5-6 times because I can show my family and friends when I'm around. So some people have seen it, but I am very excited to show it to people always. And some project you're like, please don't look at it. But this one I'm very happy to share because I don't know, I like it.
Can you tell us more about the film? This podcast is, I promise it won't go out before the premiere.
And I think I can, my director talks about it for the Jeonju Film Festival previews and stuff. So I don't want to give too much detail because there's a lot of hidden thing that you discover throughout the film. But it's about two individual, a guy and a girl, and it's not clear what the relationship is. But it's like they're spending a whole day together. And throughout the movie, you find out what their connection is and what they're kind of trying to do so it's like a conversation for like 30 minutes, but not in the same place. They're kind of spending a day together in Oceanside, California.
Oh, so they shot in California.
Yeah.
So how did you even get that role?
Through my acting class friends. She's like, oh my God, this role looks like something that you would like. So she forwarded me the casting notice, and then I applied, and then I got it, and I happened to have a friend in San Diego, so I flew out. And
so you shot in San Diego?
Like, it's Oceanside is like hour north from San Diego. Okay. Yeah. And they were there for film festival called Oceanside Film Festival.
Oh, there's a film festival.
Yeah. One of the person, for this film, he's the DP, the director of photography, but he's actually a director, and it was his first feature-length narrative film that got in. So they're like, wow, while we're here, let's shoot a film. So they were shooting film there, and they kind of I guess hired me to play the other part.
Is there any particular elements of the film that resonate? Like what made you decide to like audition for the role and immerse yourself into your character?
So when I was auditioning for first time, I didn't know like what exactly I was getting myself into. You kind of just do whatever audition you can at that point. And the audition wasn't typical. It wasn't like sides and do a self-tape. It was more like introducing yourself and just like talking naturally, because the director was looking for specific vibe of a character, like more so than how good they are at acting. So and then after I got hired to do it, I was speaking with the director, and director was looking for someone who can speak Korean fluently, but then there's like very slight of a vibe that is American, that is kind of hard to tell. But a lot of people that auditioned was too American, like too Korean American, like too like, Valley girl, like California girl, like, hey, like that vibe. But that's not what he was looking for. He wanted more like just like if you wouldn't know that that person is Korean American unless like you continue talking and there are certain things that this person do that is kind of not Korean. So he liked my vibe for it. That's why he hired me. And the process of working on it, it was a first time I worked in that way, but it's a mix of script and also improvisation.
Oh, wow.
Yes, meaning there are certain landmarks that you had to hit for the script. However, certain part I filled in the story. So some of the stories are very close to my real story. So I like input my own story like here and here, and that's what director wanted. So it comes out supernatural.
Is that quite common for fiction filmmaking? I'm quite unfamiliar.
I think that's the one this director and his friends kind of enjoy making.
So it's their specialty.
Yeah, because thing about it is because it's kind of going with the flow, the film, the camera work and stuff have to kind of be more improv as well. So that type of thing. And like the reason why I really like this film is I was struggling at this point. Like this is my third year of acting, like entering, and I had a little bit of a slump type of thing, mental block of like what kind of actor am I? Like,
Yo, where do you get your inspirations from? And
it's just like it was such a struggle because when I first started, I was like, for a beginner, I was good. So I'm like, wow, I'm like so good. I'm born for this, and I'm born to do this. But then when I enter second year, I started acting with more experienced actors, and I started taking more classes. And so many people are giving me feedback, and it was very confusing. And like they're like, oh, you should fix your English accent because you have a little bit of a Korean accent. It's very small, but it does. And or they're like, oh, you should work on your speech and the like. Sometimes like I remember Korean words for it, but it's like 발성 in Korean.
Like tone?
It's not like tone, it's like how you use it. But anyway, that or like, oh, you should work on this or you should work on that. And right before I shot the Oceanside one, I was in a student short film and I actually met Young Mazino before he got big, like a couple months before. Maybe like half a year before Beef was released, maybe.
Is he based in New York or LA?
LA, but he's from New York. And then we had like a deep talk and he gave me like a long feedback on my reel at that time. And that was also, I was so thankful that he did that. However, it was also like part of like, oh my God, like I suck. like, so it's just like, I just felt so bad about where to place myself because I'm in between. That's also really hard because I'm not Korean American enough and I'm not Korean enough. What we talked about, Korean people thought I felt natural in English and American thought I looked natural in Korean. So I'm like, okay, who am I then? Am I Korean or American? I'm like, how am I gonna get hired as an actor if I don't know which side like is fitting and like who's gonna hire me type of thing?
I kind of understand you because I always have that identity crisis.
Yeah.
I'm Korean, though I grew up in the US. I haven't.
Yeah, and as an actor, like I have to be hired to play something, and it's like, is there a place for me in this like world? And then that's the moment when I got hired to do this project, and what he was looking for is like someone exactly like me. So, which was very reassuring and interesting to kind of play myself in a way, like some character that is closest to me. Like
It's a documentary, though.
in a way, and then I'm curious to see how Korean audience will take that kind of character, like if they will feel for that kind of character.
Is this the work premiere? Have you shown this somewhere?
World premiere.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So this is your first time in a film festival.
Yeah.
Where are you going after this? You know?
Like the film.
Yeah.
So it's going. Not yet. We did apply, but in US, 30-minute short film is hard to be programmed. Yeah. It's a pretty big deal to program a 30-minute short. It's a pretty long short.
Right.
So that's why I feel so kind of partial to this one. And also it's kind of about, in a short way, it's like about my character is someone who grew up in America.
Mhm.
So there's certain longing of wanting connection with someone from Korea, and like that missing part that is wanted by this person, which sometime I felt is searching for that, my connection to Korea and friends and stuff like that. So, and loneliness you feel from growing up in America and going to like junior high school and high school.
Grew up in New York or somewhere else?
Chicago suburbs.
Chicago.
Suburbs is the important part.
Like a fancy suburbs.
Oh, I hate suburbs so much.
I grew up in Bangkok.
I hate the suburbs. It's just like so lonely, and like people have certain way of thinking, and I just feel like my brain's dead from just being there. Just like nothing's happening. There's no people on the street. You only see cars. My high school and junior high school was very white people heavy, so not a lot of diversity, and I don't know. Also, that age, people are not nice, like teenagers. So it's like that plus like not having enough diversity was kind of not. I didn't enjoy it at all. So when I went to college, I mostly hung out with Koreans or Asian Americans.
So there were other Korean students at your school?
In my college, not many, but enough. Because I didn't want to go to a place with too many Koreans, because that is a little overwhelming. And they're judgy, and like I don't want to get into
I
that.
went to school.
Yeah. We had like
So many Koreans that we don't even know all each other.
we know everyone. Now it's not like that, but when I went, like my year had like maybe 10, and then year below us had like 15 type of things.
So in Everest, Wisconsin, the total Korean student population was like 1,000.
Yeah. Because also I went to smaller school. My school was 6,000 people.
Yeah, my school was like 4,000.
So yeah, it's cool. So I went to WashU in St. Louis, and we're still really close, and because we all know each other. So even though we don't see each other for a long time, when we meet up, it's always fun. We were like family because we always hung out together because so little, and like so I'm very thankful for that. But before that, I think I was really lonely. I like hated that vibe. So that kind of feeling I was able to kind of talk about more in this movie, which is why it feels very real.
And then you have the opportunity to like read the lines as you go. Right?
Yeah, some of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
The director actually, how did he respond to that? Was it like, huh, what's going on? Or was it more?
Oh, he wanted that. And the process, because if you do a lot of improv, the backstory had to be really tight. So I met with him on Zoom at least 3 times before we met for shooting, regarding like talking about the backstory. Like, what is the backstory of this character? Like, what's the relationship with these two people? So a lot of talk about the backstory, and then like an area that he wants me to fill in. It's almost like he didn't want it to hear it before the shoot, because he wants the reaction to be very genuine. So some of the parts that he asked me to fill in wasn't, he didn't know about it before.
So you live in New York City. I'm sure there's tons of like improv theater, like acting, like opportunities they can dive into, like classes.
I actually never did improv because, I don't know, it's like, maybe I should, but it just feels a little cringe, and I just feel like a little too much. But I kind of like more of the having the back, like more structured improv, I guess is a better way to put it. It's like you build a character and then you go with the story. I like that. It's just like sometimes you feel like you are more scared of like what you don't know,
Yeah.
and then improv people do sometimes like weird, funny things, and
I just feel like improv scene like they're really tight knit, so they like very supportive. They just like host.
I think being like Korean and growing up trying to like I have to do a good job type of thing, like showing up and being weird sometimes it's a little hard. Though with the script and stuff I can. So one day I think I have to.
So what are you most excited about the upcoming Jeonju International Festival and also like being here in Seoul right now?
Well, Seoul, it's like nothing that exciting, but in a good way because it always feels like home. That's why I feel comfortable just going around by myself. Like if I walk around, it feels like I've never left and I like live here kind of feel. I'm like I belong here kind of feel.
Well, everywhere you look, there's screen.
Oh, that is weird. And when I just arrive, after a while, it's okay. But in the beginning, like, wow, so many Koreans. But like the feel of the place, like the vibe is something that I'm very, very familiar with. And I think it's because I grew up here until elementary school and that type of thing. And then I came back almost every year since I went to college. So since I got green card, before that we couldn't go because of that reason. Also, it's not my money. But so it always feels more like I'm not a visitor, but I already like live here and like I have friends here, families here, so it just feels like normal. Jeonju Film Festival, I'm really excited about being part of a film festival, Korean film festival. Exactly. And like I said, I would love to see Korean audiences respond to my movie because it is kind of funny here and there, the conversation, that I wonder if people will find it funny too. And like, so I'm like excited to see the reaction and what kind of questions people will have.
How many screenings are you having?
Four. Four, and then two Q&A session. And then, as I told you before we started interview, it also got into the Incheon Diaspora Film Festival, and there will be two showing there as well, and one Q&A. Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It seems like it's doing well in Korean film festivals.
That's
so.
amazing. So after two festivals here in Korea, what are you guys planning to show anywhere outside of like Korea, like in Asia? Like, or
I don't know where he put in the film. I think he has a distributor. I mean, the person who helps with submitting to festival.
Yeah.
There's a company he's signed with, I think. But I'm not a director. I don't know. I gave him some New York ones to put in, but because it's 30-minute, I'm not sure if it will ever make it.
Right.
So. It would be cool to come if we could come to New York, but New York Film Festival is very competitive.
There's San Diego Asian.
I heard that one's really good. My friend who actually lived in San Diego and housed me during this film shoot, they met their couple. They're married. They met in San Diego Film Festival. They used to volunteer there. One of them was programmer, another one like was operation, I think.
Nice.
Like volunteer. So they got married and currently they're living in Korea. They're coming to the Jeonju Film Festival to see my movie, which is cool because they were part of supporting my journeys. For me, I think a lot of the projects that I'm interested in is about kind of a minority's view in life, I guess. But then not in a typical way of showing it.
Are you conscious in the US that you are a minority?
Yeah. Because
Does it affect you like day to day, like everyday life?
not as much in New York because there's so many foreigners. So that's why I like New York. I don't think I can live anywhere else.
LA. What's wrong with
I hate driving.
LA?
I hate being in traffic.
There's traffic in New York too.
But I walk though. I walk or take subway or that type of thing. New York's not that big. If you really wanted to walk it, you can probably walk it, but in good weather. But I like seeing people in the city, so I'm more a city person in general. And also, I think New York people are still more diverse than LA people because LA people tend to hang out in pockets of their industry, but New York people are more mixed. Like I have friends who are like actor, and then I have a friend who works in finance or banking, and then I have a friend who's lawyer, and like they all kind of hang out together.
We're at the same cranes.
Yeah, and when you go to party, there's people with like different background, and no one cares like what you do.
Is there like a big supported like Korean American acting community?
I'm discovering them this year. Interestingly, we met on Threads. Like, there's a lot of Korean American living in New York on Threads.
Yeah.
So many of them. So I kind of started meeting people.
I still don't understand what Threads is about. I started doing it recently.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
But I met a lot of Korean American artists on Threads. Like I met another director who's Korean American in New York, and she does a lot of what does she the play that you're talking about, the experimental thing. She did it. And then she's kind of person who's like, let's just do things. So recently we just filmed like vertical real drama thing. Because we're like, let's just do it. And then she would like just come up with script, and it's like script. And then you're like, okay. I love comedy, so I'm kind of dabbling a lot of comedy. I don't think I'm funny as joke making or like making comments, but I like situational comedy, meaning why is this person saying this at this moment type of thing, or why is this person in this situation to begin with? And I think I have that kind of odd feel, like I look very naive and sweet, but then I'm a very direct person, so depending on how you twist that, like that kind of funniness where it's uh wow, did this person just say that at this moment? That's wow, like that type of moment I really like. So definitely want to do more comedy, but also like telling serious story and comedy is fun because there's too many seriousness, and all these independent films are very like serious and artistic and whatnot, but it's more fun when it's told in kind of jokingly way, but the message behind it is kind of deep. But situational comedy, I think, transcends culture.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, I've been in that situation, and I
Yeah.
know, and then this person, I know that kind of person who's like, have no idea what's going on and like being dumb. And like, so that kind of thing, I think, that's why I like situational comedy more than like a slapstick type of comedy. Also, there's not enough good comedy. People don't write that many comedy anymore.
Exactly.
I've been doing more drama so far, so like, and drama's great, but I think comedies are fun. I would love to do horror too, but
Yeah, there aren't any shows like Friends.
exactly. It's like even movies, there are like not that many good comedy. So I want to like tell this kind of Asian story more in like comical way, but then show the breadth of different type of Asian in America. Like they talk about like super Korean to like spectrum to like super American Korean and anyone in between, and how they have different mindsets. So kind of portraying Asian as artists, like, or Asian doing like a broke Asian who like don't know what they're doing. They're like not that smart type of thing.
I don't know if you.
That's the tricky thing about this storytelling is because it's easier to play a stereotypical one or like make a character, but then if the character is more not stereotypical, then they're more complicated, so it's harder for audience to understand. So that is the trick part, but I want to try to show like the spectrum of people and like how Asians are also people, and then they like go through similar feelings as non-Asian people. And I think like Beef did that well. Like in a way, it's a not Asian story, but it is type of at the same time. And then the other stuff I'm writing is like one is more like short form stuff about my experience as like a UX designer and how being Asian in tech world kind of comedy. It's like fantasy type of thing where this girl, I think, becomes like was visited by her ancestor in a dream, and then she kind of started acting like white men in the office and like struggle she goes through with that. And then the other one I'm writing with another person is about brother and sister. It's also comedy. Brother and sister. The brother grew up in Korea and sister kind of grew up in America, studied in America, and then he kind of come to America to be a director. And she like their relationship, and they have to ended up subletting their room, and then having different Korean people come in and out, like a kind of sitcom feel. So I'm like, the one that we're shooting on in the fall is about two women. Like it started out with I wanted it to be about two women with different racial background, and like but they find commonality and connect type of idea. And then we're telling that story from both of them are dating the same Korean guy, and he was so there's a girlfriend in Korea, and then he was cheating on her with the girl in America, like online dating. But she come to visit him, and somehow two girls meet up, like run into each other, and then they realize that their boyfriend's cheating. And then, but the boyfriend has like kind of outside and like running away. But he figured out that these two figured out, so they go chasing him, like find him, and then at the end of it, and then they kind of develop friendship throughout. They realize like they're actually they're similar, and then kind of blows up. They find him and confront him, but then they realize that he doesn't speak Korean, English, and she doesn't speak Korean. So they've been dating through like ChatGPT translation. But now that they're really angry at each other, they are like, they can't understand each other. And I'm also, my character is also angry, but now I'm translating on top of it. It's like a highlight, and then the girls realize that this is not worth it and move on. So it's like dramedy, I guess. So situationally, it's kind of funny because it's kind of looking at the technology and the connection, loneliness, and then that type of global connection.
A lot of people can relate. Yeah, especially. Also, we've talked a lot about your past career, your future, your current like status with the Jeonju International Film Festival. Do you have any advice for young creators, especially like Korean American actors, producers, directors, for trying to like cross over to Korea, like working on like transcending the stories like in the US and Korea? Like any tips?
I think it is most important to just do it and like stop thinking. And how the best way to do it is like meeting people, because I think most industries are like that, but especially film industry is kind of about who you know, not like someone famous or anything, but someone you really click with as a human to human, and like collaborating and doing work together. And
yeah, because it's all about teamwork.
Yeah, you can't make stuff on your own. So if you want to come to Korea scene or even work in America as actor, it's literally just about Well, actually, there's two parts. You should be good at acting. I mean, you should work on your acting. I'm like also improving always because when I see myself 4 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Anyway, compared to like now, so you should be ready and you should work on your craft and whatever like that. That's just baseline. But beyond that, just craft isn't enough these days. You have to really learn about yourself. Learn about like who you are, what you want to do as an actor, what you want to show. Because if you don't know that, then other people also don't know, and then everyone's confused, and you're never gonna get hired. And then kind of meeting people that you click with, and they're willing to like do stuff with you, start a project, or. Yeah, like I told you recently, we did like a quick reels. It was literally over lunch. We just shot one camera and like one shot each person. Very rough, sounds rough, everything's rough. But it was like 1 minute story that now has almost 10,000 and 100,000 views. So you just have to do it because you never know what will kind of work out. But you don't have to network with anyone. You just network, and if that person feels right for you, then you kind of develop that relationship. And those are the people who bring you up. If one of us make it, hopefully they will help you bring you up too, or hire you for something. Or
Network is key.
yes, network and like being professional in wherever you do and really showing good work.
It goes very far.
Yeah, you don't want to do crappy work, then they'll not hire you again.
So for those of the audience who wants to follow your journey, where can they find you?
So I'm trying to be better about social media. I'm like so lazy about it, but I feel like in this age, it is kind of important. And important is one thing, but recently I realized I kind of enjoy it. Like because part of storytelling too, not just because I'm an actor, I should do social media. I think it's more about like telling mini stories. I kind of like it, so I'm trying to be better about it. And maybe if I do enough, then I don't have to work in tech anymore and be an influencer. I don't know, we'll see.
So share your handle to the audience.
Yeah, so my Instagram handle is minikimofficial. And you can follow a lot of my stuff there. I will try to post often, but it's a struggle.
All right, so that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and hearing Mini Kim's journey crossing over from the US to Korea back and forth. Do check out your film if you're visiting Jeonju International Film Festival this week. It's called Still Sunset. I think tickets are sold out.
Yeah, but they're playing in Incheon.
Oh yeah, so come Incheon Diaspora Film Festival. That's May 18th.
Yeah, 18th and 19th.
So 2 screenings, and we'll keep you posted. And Untold by Docu Plus, that's our new podcast channel. We'll be bringing new guests, hopefully every month, and talk to all these awesome people. So thank you and stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.